Are you seeking an easy add-on of photo books and one-sheets? How do you simplify your workflow providing clients with flyers and mailings from your images? What is a print media editor platform, and how can it help you make money? Stay tuned. Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, July 11th, 2024. You're watching WGAN-TV live at 5, a podcast for digital twin creators shaping the future of real estate today. We have an awesome show for you. Easy add-ons, photo books, brochures, flyers, and mailings via the Urbanimmersive UiPrint service. Our subject matter experts are Urbanimmersive Director of U.S. Operations and Imaging Services, Craig Patelli, and Urbanimmersive Executive Vice President, François-Huges. Craig and Francois, thank you for being on the show.
Hi, Dan. It's our pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to be here.
Francois, tell us about Urbanimmersive.
Yes, as many of you know, Urbanimmersive is a 3D tour platform that has been created 15 years ago already. But is also, we have through a different platform that we have, we're visual content providers. So we have systems that allow photographers to manage their images, floor plans, 3D tours, single-party websites. And also, since we acquired Home Visit a year and a half ago, and the service that we just launched is a print service that we offer through our own agencies, but also now that we are expanding to every photographer that is using our platform. So that's what we'll show you tonight is everything that we, how that platform works, and it's a brand new service, and how easy to use it is, and how it could be a revenue source for the photographer.
Great. And that service, the Urbanimmersive UiPrint service, Craig, give us a top view of Urbanimmersive UiPrint service.
Sure. So the UiPrint service is one aspect of our platform. After all the shooting's done and all the scanning's done and you upload all of your photos into the system, they don't just sit there. What do you do with them? You throw them on the MLS and just walk away. There's more to it than that. The UiPrint service brings it to that next level, allowing you to create your own designs or just have designs made for you for brochures, property prints, mailers, and agent bios. And it really gives you a tangible product, and it gives you tangible branding. It gives you more of a physical connection with your customer, typically your agents.
And Francois, I know just before we went on air, you were showing me some samples of perhaps you could hold up
yes,
Urbanimmersive
if you like how it works. Also, you'll be receiving a box with inside. You'll have if it's books, the property books will be there, and so you'll have a Jadam that will be ordered. And then,
so hold that up just for 1 second, because what that is, I think you mentioned that is 5 books that are.
Yes, it's an order of 5 books that are wrapped together. Could be 10, 25, or how many you want to order. So they'll be wrapped up together. And then when you open them up, you have this. So this is a nice way to. It could be have a cover with like property image or just a black cover if you want. It's a good quality paper. As you see, it really holds up pretty well. It's glossy. You have semi-gloss or glossy. You have coating, UV coating or not. And then all the pictures are broadcasted inside. So you have everything that's done. You have different formats and different number of pages. The good thing is everything can be integrated within it. So if you have floor plans, the floor plans could be here. So with that, you have all that information plus the agent's contact info. And
you
also
hold that up just a little higher.
Sorry.
Okay, awesome. So whatever the agent wants to put on the back, terrific.
Exactly. And the good thing is also because it's 2024, if you have any interactive content like an immersive visit, we can add on QR codes in it. So that will bring you directly to the virtual tour that's connected, or single property website, everything that's on the web connected to the property. So it could could be a nice mix, to tie everything together. So tie the physical images to the virtual world. So this could be the perfect way to tie both worlds together.
Okay, great. So, Craig, while you show us, if you go ahead and share a screen.
Sure.
Excuse me. Francois held up one product. Could you take us, perhaps show and tell us about the other products too, the other UiPrint products?
Sure. So, as I said before, we offer brochures, 4, 6, 8 pages, mailer cards, agent profile books, or brokerage profile books. Here's an example of a 6-page brochure. The platform's really flexible, depending on the agent. Every agent has their own way of wanting to showcase their work and has their own branding. So we make sure to give a lot of variety as far as, and we'll go into a little bit later, as far as templates and control. This way the agents could really just stay to their branding 100%. Here's another example of let me scroll up a little bit. Sorry about that. Couple of different layouts for you. This is an 8-page brochure, and I believe I have a mailer next.
And so all the 8-page brochures, what I referenced as a book, they're all 8 inches by 8 inches square?
Not all of them. You could order different sizes. I believe we have 8 by 8 is one of them. We do custom size ones as well. We could do like an 8 by 12. And it really, like I said, it's like we have our standards and we could customize them to whichever an agent or a customer or a photographer wants, for that matter. Same with our mailer cards. Like this would be an example of just a mailer card. It's just a 2-sided mailer card. What I really like, one thing that's really interesting, I'm just going to kind of just fast forward a little bit. There's the agent profile books, which is really cool. So it allows the agents to do their own branding themselves. Now we have our property books, like you go out, you shoot a property, you say, oh, look at this beautiful house. But agents also want to separate themselves, not just say, look at my property, let's sell it. They want to brand themselves. They want themselves to be known. So we do custom booklets for themselves. And we try to design each one to fit whatever the vibe of that agent is. We have templates that the agents can create themselves that we'll go into a little bit later, or you could come to us and request.
Okay.
Like
we'll get into the process of how to do this, but at the moment, let's stay focused on what are the different options for print.
Gotcha. So this would be considered an agent profile booklet. This is 8 pages. Let's scroll down here. You could add your floor plans, any services that you guys offer.
And they can talk about their banners, how many years they've been experienced. So it's a nice way for them to sell themselves, and if they visit a potential customer for listing, they can at least they have something that's tangible to leave to them, more than just a business card. And also those booklets are good for souvenirs, also for the sellers actually that want to remember their house. It's a good gift to give to them as a souvenir. So it's it completes the whole offer that an agent can so that's the service offering that an agent can offer to their customer.
There you go. I think those are all the samples that I have up there at the moment. So it really depends on what the agent wants. We could do 12-page booklets. We can go about as far as 12-page. Our standard brochures are usually between 6 and 8 pages. And the mailer cards are only just 2-sided. They're pretty standard. And again, you could have them open up just like a straight up like a booklet, or you could do more of a vertical, like calendar view type design. Again, it's just really going to depend on whichever the agent prefers.
And they all have the same quality. We don't have two levels of quality. It's just like high quality standard that we have.
Awesome. Let me see if I recall all the different print products. First is a book, and that book could either be a property listing book, or it could be an agent book. Obviously, it could be whatever the client wants, but typically it's either the property or an agent, perhaps even a brokerage. There's and the books come in various sizes, and they come in different page counts. I believe I heard 4, 6, 8, and 12 pages of the options. Then there are flyers, and those flyers can be horizontal and vertical. Mailer postcards. And Craig, was there a product I was missing, a print product I was missing?
I think you got them. You got our booklets, you got the flyers. I mean, some of them are a little interchangeable depending on how they are used, but I think you nailed it.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about, so I'm a real estate photographer. Everything I'm doing is digital. Why should I be talking to agents about print? Why should agents, real estate agents, be using print? I know Francois talked a little bit about that, but if you could maybe do a little deeper dive, and maybe from an agent's perspective and then from a photographer's perspective.
Well, sure. I was actually a photographer before I came into work for home visits, so it's kind of my wheelhouse. Like, as far as agents concerned, it's kind of like what I said before. It's one thing just to get all of your images scanned and shot and edited, but like, what do you do with them? Like, how do you really make an impact? Everyone's throwing everything up on a gallery. Like, so, and this goes both with whether you're a photographer or agent. You get the photos, you throw them onto an online gallery, you throw them somewhere, or you throw them on the MLS. But how do you differentiate, how do you separate yourself from all the other agents that are doing the same thing? This is in your face marketing. There's no escaping it. You can't walk away. You can't look, just go to the next screen. So it gives someone something tangible to hold in their hand, and that really makes an impact. I noticed when I was a photographer, whether it was real estate or whatever other industry that I was in, it was great. You'd send people the images, they would like it. But when you created an album, when you created something tangible, it creates more of an impact to the customer or to the client, and it's almost like a piece of artwork. Digital just kind of falls away when you mix it with everything else. When you have something that's almost that you can touch, it really draws the customer in more. So from an agent's perspective, I would say this is really going to get their clientele to look deeper into this property or deeper into what their business does. And as a photographer standpoint on that, I mean, it's one more thing that they can offer. Now, all photographers, our main goal is to just bring imagery to everybody. And like I said, in the digital realm,
Craig, before we talk about photographer, forgive me, but let me just ask some more questions about the real estate agent. Do you find that the primary use case is helping the agent win more and bigger premium listings, or is it you're getting more usage because the print materials are used to help get more offers for more money sooner for the most money? Is it about selling the property? Is it about getting the listing? Is it both?
I would say it's all of those things. For the bigger listings, you have to put your marketing. You got to put your money where your mouth is. It's like, if you want to get those big listings, you want to get that great imagery out there, and you don't want it, like I said, just to be flooded with all the other digital imagery that's out there. So, and just to get the word out, you have listings are kind of down, and so you're competing in a very stiff market. You have to have an edge over your competition. So just getting the word out, that's where really the mailers do a great job. You have people that are looking, they're going online, they're using the sites trying to find something. But when you have mailers that are just telling you like, hey, we're right in your neighborhood. This is a great brokerage in your neighborhood. This is selling on your street or in the town next to you. Not only does that give the name recognition to that agent, it says, all right, this is a direction that I have to go. So it really it satisfies a lot. It's like, go for the bigger listings, sell, reach all of the smaller listings, reach as many people as you can. The goal is just to reach everybody.
Yeah. We see it with the customers. The agents actually are using that all across the price spectrum. They have more success because like other customers don't feel like a two-tier customer. They feel that they have the same service because those are not that expensive. So it's like our mailers, it's not that expensive. So the customers that see their property in the book, it gives them a sense of, okay, like I'm not just a number, I'm somebody. For that agent, I am somebody. And those also are super for open houses. when you go into the open house, you leave with something that's like Craig said, that's tangible. I can see the house. I remember that house because I can look at it at night in bed or so
Yeah,
it makes a
to
difference.
follow up on that, Francois or Craig, are the agents using for leave behinds at open houses? Are they using the book? Are they using the flyers? Or are they using the postcard? Or it varies by agent?
It's going to vary by agent a bit. I would say the majority of people are doing about 4 to 6 page brochures just to leave in the household. It's like that's your standard one that's going to come there. But even further than that, if they're trying to push themselves or brand themselves, they'll use their agent bio book. So they might even have like 2 on the table right there, so that people could learn about the agent or the brokerage. People could learn about the individual property, and then it's kind of like a 1-2 punch with the mailer. So if people are seeing it in the house, they're learning about the brokerages, and they're getting it in their mail, it's really going to stick inside of their brain.
And for photographers, why should they be offering print?
Well, for me, that's an easy one. There are so many things that you can do as a photographer in order to satisfy your customer or grow your business. I mean, photography is always paramount, but what do you do with those images? It's like I said, you just shoot them and you're done, and that's all you're doing. There's so much more to it than that. This gives them one more tool, not only for the photographer to be able to grow their business, make more money, give them another product to sell, but it also will satisfy their clients, make their clients happier, and it makes them stand out amongst photographers that are just, pardon the language, just shoot and burn, where they just go and they shoot and they just give the agent the images themselves. I would say like agents sometimes need some guidance from photographers, and not all photographers have that guidance. This is just one more way for a photographer to say, hey, I'm a professional photographer and I can help you market. I have tools, whether it's using our platform to use our editing or whether it's to use our platform to use our print service. I can do all of this for you, or I can at least guide you versus just kind of leaving them flapping in the wind a little bit.
You mentioned money. So how does a photographer make money with print products from Urbanimmersive?
Well, it will depend depending on if it's an internal agency from Urbanimmersive, because Urbanimmersive has its own internal agencies, and then we have thousands of photographers within our photography network.
Yeah, let's only talk about the independent photographers.
So Francois, actually, you have the number. I believe it's a percentage that we.
Yes, we give them a 15% commission. Because of sales tax, it's easier that way. So that way, Urbanimmersive sells the goods, and that's where we charge sales tax per state, and we give the photographer a 15% commission, everything that's ordered for our platform.
And so is the photographer placing the order? Or is the real estate agent placing the order?
It's going to probably depend on the individual photographer, how they set up their workflow. Now, they could have it set up where they go out and they shoot the images, it goes up into the system on our gallery, and then the photographers can go in and they could create these prints and these designs for them and show the agent a PDF proof. Or if the photographer would rather be a little bit more hands-off, they could deliver all the images and talk to their agent and talk to the customer, like, hey, all of your stuff is online. Now you could create property websites, go into the print, the UiPrint, and finish your marketing.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, there's 2 ways that a photographer could handle print for clients. One is enable the real estate agent to sign into the portal, the Urbanimmersive portal that has all the digital assets, including the opportunity to print and order the print themselves.
Correct.
And essentially, if the photographer can encourage its clients, its real estate agent clients, brokers, to use the self-service portal, then the real estate photographer is simply making more money from the property that's already been shot by enabling print as an add-on that's self-service for a real estate agent.
Correct. It's really just going to depend on how much work that photographer wants to do and what the photographer themselves wants their branding to be. If they want to be more of a marketing shop, not just a photographer, or you have some photographers that just want to shoot and walk away. Either way, I mean, like I said, the UI offers a lot of flexibility kind of to run your business the way you want to.
So the photographer may choose to simply understand the client's needs, let them know, would you like X number of, I can offer you the following, what would you like? Photographer goes ahead and using perhaps templates within the Urbanimmersive UiPrint service. And I'll ask you to do a demo, but before we get into the demo of how it's done, that the photographer can use the portal themselves, use template driven in order to create the various print materials. And then it's shipped when I guess there was probably an interim step of providing the client with a proof to say, is this what you wanted for your various print products? Client signs off on it. And then the photographer can place the order and the print pieces get mailed in bulk from the Chantilly, Virginia printing location.
Correct.
And that's if I understand correctly, that's servicing United States and Canada.
Yes, it does.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So and maybe there's a third hybrid where the photographer perhaps does the first piece or two pieces, walks the client through how to do it themselves if the client would prefer to do that. Some people like to do things themselves. Some people like somebody to do it for them. And there may be this hybrid of, how about I show you how to use it because it's so easy to use.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Can you show us how easy it is to create Urbanimmersive UI print service?
Absolutely.
Printing.
Let me just open this up for you real quick. Give me 1 second here.
And while you're doing that, I'll mention the website, urbanimmersive.com. If you want to go right to the print product, urbanimmersive.com/print. And if you forget that, just go to urbanimmersive.com, go under the menu services, pull down to print. And if you have any questions, you can also go to urbanimmersive.com/contact or find that contact us page on urbanimmersive.com. Okay. I'm a little bit confused. It says, I'm thinking it's going to say Urbanimmersive UiPrint, but I see home visit. Can you give us some context of understanding why we're looking at that?
Sure. Well, this was the sample. Now, Home Visit is owned by Urbanimmersive. The two U.S. agencies under Urbanimmersive in the United States are iMoto and Home Visit. So similar to how you have individual photographers plugged into the system, we have a few bigger agencies that are also plugged into the system. The process will be exactly the same, though the branding would be different. This is also worth mentioning. That's the awesome thing about our platform is that you could put your own branding onto it. So when the agents come in, they're seeing the photographer's logo, they're seeing the photographer, but the process works the same. So let me just go into
You would
this.
have
So
like the branding under XYZ photography instead of home visit.
Okay. Thank you for
And-
that clarification. Just so we're like overstood, it doesn't have to be home visit logo in the top left. It can be the
It will be
photographer's.
exactly personalized to the providers, branding, logo, picture, colors, and everything. And it will be app.xyzphotography.com. So everything will be personalized. So it'll be a seamless process. Nobody would see the rest. Like the layout of it will be the same, but everything will be personalized to the photographer's ID.
Okay, so it's a white label solution. It's with the photographer's own branding, own colors, own domain.
Exactly. Yes.
Correct. So once you come in, you can kind of gives you all the options of what you can order. Let's just take a look. We have our direct mail cards here, and here's a few other sizes that I don't think I mentioned the 5x8. Most of the cards we do are 6x11s. You could order your direct mail cards. You could come here. You could do your flyers. brochures. You got and here's some, and you could just different templates you could choose from. So why don't we just go in? Let's go to the 4 to 8 page one. Let's just choose a 4-page layout right there. Gives you your total cost right there. And then you come in and you could choose the different templates. So you have options. You could either use the templates that are in the system, which makes it a lot easier for agents or photographers.
Let's stay with that for the moment. If you could take us through a template example.
Sure. So if whether you're an agent or a photographer coming in designing these, we're continually uploading new templates because we get custom designs that sometimes come in. So we add new ones, or we come up, our design team's really awesome. They come up with these cool ideas like, let's add this in there. So there's always templates being added. Sometimes agents want something specific, and then we could custom design one for them. But let's just say we're just going to use the templates that are there for now. You can kind of go in, choose which one you want. And now this is going to be the mock-up design for your 4-page brochure. So on the left-hand side here, it has a couple pre-selected templates, but you don't have to choose the ones that are in there. Like you're saying, let's just say you wanted something a little bit different for this page. You just go under the layout.
Let's go through the simplest way I could possibly order a print product, and then we'll talk about how I could do something different.
Gotcha. Well, once you choose your first template, all you have to do is kind of come in, and this is where all of your imagery, and it's just simple, a drag and drop. So you can come in and just add whichever images you want here. Come here, you could just write your custom text right here, whatever the property description or whatever you want. It shows, and then you just go to your next page. Let's just go look at the pages we have done so far. So you can see that we have that page done. Let's go back to page 1. Same process. You just go to your photos.
I'm going a little bit fast for me. I'm a little bit confused. You opened up a template and it said 314 Paw Drive. Was that because of the listing that I have, or that is the generic placeholder copy, pictures, etc.?
Oh, that was just a sample property that I added in. So, I mean, I could go to the very beginning if you would like.
Yes, please.
Sure,
the
sure.
thing, there'll be a connection between the picture order and the print. So all the images related that we're taking for that property will be automatically downloaded in that order. So that'll make the
So that's what I think I'm missing is Craig, is like, where did you enter that particular address for a property that you have?
So right up here,
start with, so literally you start with a new address.
So that's 2 ways to get to that. Oh, sorry, Francois, go on.
That's okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So if you're starting from scratch and you don't already have a property listing up in our system.
No, let's assume I have a property listing, because that's your sweet spot. I've already delivered to the real estate agent all the digital assets, so I've already created a listing. So let's start there.
Gotcha. Well, if you already have an order in the system, it's as simple as clicking order prints. I can go through that in just a second. Sure, I don't have it pulled up yet. So if you just give me 1 second to pull a sample of that.
If you see here a business solution order ID, you can put also the number, the order right here.
1 second.
Okay.
So that's why, like, the platform, like Craig's saying, is
so what I'm looking for, Craig, is the easiest, fastest, simplest way to create. Perhaps we could start with a book for a listing that has already been shot. Therefore, all the digital assets exist. The real estate agent profile already exists. Everything already exists for fulfilling an order. But I'm ready for that next step, is add an add-on of a print product, ideally a book.
Gotcha. So if you already have an order placed in the system, it would kind of show something like this. So this was, let's just say this agent ordered photography. The photographer went out, shot everything. It's already uploaded in the system. They can view their images. They can view their images. Let's take a look. Like this is all of their images from that property shoot.
Yes.
So it's already uploaded. They're ready to go. Simply go to here, create a new order for that address, and then you have all of the services that pop up. So in this case, we're going to order more print. And you have your option of the online editor, which is the layout and designs that I was talking about. Or
Nope,
if they want to,
Greg, let's stay with the easiest and simple template, and then I'll ask, well, if I want to do custom. So please just
Gotcha.
work with me here, is show me the easiest way to order a book for a property that already exists.
sure. Let's just go here. Whoop, I'm glitching a little bit. Give me 1 second.
I know we have a lot going on between how we do WGAN-TV live at 5 and your connection and et cetera. So
There we go. We're just going to come in here, online print order. Now in this sample, the address isn't automatically popping up. For argument's sake, let's just add this in here now, though. So typically you wouldn't have to add the address. The sample order, unfortunately, isn't connected to how I want it to. So we're just going to add that. Start. And then you choose what you want to choose. So we're going to start with a simple one. We're just going to do a basic brochure. And then all the images from that property should already be preloaded into the system for you. And you just click and drag. If you need to upload any more photos, you could just add more medias. If there's something that wasn't shot, sometimes the agents like to use their own photo, or maybe if we didn't get like a neighborhood, or the pool was closed and they had the open pool, so they could just simply add their own photos right there. And then once they're done their one page, they just move on to the next page, and it's simply just continue just to lay them out.
and I noticed on the first page, the agent if info was there. So that automatically pulled up from that particular property listing.
Yeah, if the agent is in the system and their information is in there, it'll pre-fill all of their information for them, as long as they have an account in the system.
And if they include, I know that we're looking at, excuse me, a demo order. If this was a live order for an ongoing real estate agent, would it also populate their photo, all their information, so that they don't have to, they're reordering again, it already exists?
All of their information would be pre-filled in there, and then their logo would be pre-filled under their account as well. So this way, it's kind of like custom to that account.
Mm-hmm. So their photo, if they use a photo, a headshot, that would be included. If they're using a logo, that would be included. If they're using a website, phone number, et cetera, that all pre-populates. So when you get to your second job, it's even easier than...
Yeah, once you do one, the rest of them become easier.
So that might be a case where the photographer has done the first one for the client, delivered it to them, and say, hey, here's a complimentary book on the listing we just shot for you. If you'd like to do this going forward, you can do this as self-service. It's drag and drop. Happy to show you how to do that if you need help. And then here's, and pricing is online based on the quantity that you wanted to order.
Correct. And then once you're done, and I don't want to print here because I might confuse my print shop guys. Once you're done, you just click print and it'll automatically generate a PDF proof. Now, if the agent is creating them themselves, they get the proof directly to them. If the photographer is going to create it, they're going to take that PDF proof and they're going to either have the agent email so it goes straight to them, or they're just going to send it to them manually. But if you're an agent coming in, let's just say you're an agent and you just lay it down yourself, which I think is going to be the easiest way for agents to do it sometimes. If you're talking about speed and just getting things done, they would just come in, choose these templates, lay out what they want, print, and then just have an address to send it to. And they're done. You could design these booklets probably in, depending on, the more you get used to it, probably like 5 minutes, and you could have like these professional looking designs without having to use a separate designer.
So I'm a little bit confused. In the top right, you have the options to save and print. If you print, it's not actually going to print. It's actually going to create a proof.
Well, yeah, this will create a proof. It also gives you a bunch, if there's any warnings. Again, I'm just using some sample photos. If your photo size is too small, it'll give you a warning, or if something's got to not print good, it'll give you a warning. Yeah, once you go forward with this, it would design, I'd have to officially design the whole thing. It'll spit out a PDF proof for you, and you can just, like I said, either the agent just looks at it, says, all right, this needs to be changed, or the photographer just shoots it over to the agent.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit more about pricing? Whereas like if I'm done with my proof, does it retell me, would you like to add to the order? And then here's how that pricing perhaps changes.
So when you order it up front, your pricing is going to be figured out up front. I can go back to that original page for you. Let's go back. Let's go back a few pages. There you go. So you would choose your quantity down here. So the pricing is up front. So the customer, photographer, or agent knows what they're getting. There's no secret costs that come in after. So before they even go forward with the order, they know how much they're going to be paying for it.
So if you change the quantity, then we're going to see the cost change.
Sure, let's go do that real quick. Let's go up to, there you go. And then if we go to, you wanted to order, let's make a big order, 2,000. Yeah, so there's no surprise costs. It's just everything's up front before you move forward.
Okay. So this is the template process. That seems easy. What if the client wants to do something that's a little bit different? Do they have the option of starting with a clean slate? Can they start with the template and modify a template and then save it as a modified template for their purposes?
So let me go forward here again. So you have a couple of options with that. You could, if you have an artistic agent, they could either they could create their own design and just send us, a self-designed print. Or if they wanted to come in here, they have some options to customize. You can't really move the boxes around, or at least not as of yet. So it's not like using InDesign within the system. Like they have some limited options. Let's just see if we could pull this back up again. Doesn't seem to want to go forward for me here. We're just going to refresh it. There we go. So yeah, I mean, as far as custom creations, that would be done by our in-house designers, or like I said, if they wanted something in-house, our designer would create it, would physically send them PDF proof, and then they would approve it. From there, sometimes we would make custom templates. Let's say it was an agent we work with a lot, and you're like, hey guys, I really like using the system, but I wish we had a different layout because I wind up using it a lot. You could just speak to one of our designers and he would create that custom layout for that specific agent, and then they can upload it into the system so that layout is there every time for them. So a lot of it is you have to go through it once. If something's not there or something that you wish was not there, just let us know and then we can add it into the system. Typically, when we add one template in the system, we add it to all the templates so all other agents have access to it as well.
So an agent or a photographer could work with Urbanimmersive UiPrint home visit to order something completely custom, excuse me, and you have designers on staff that would take the direction and actually do that for the customer.
Correct, correct.
Is there an additional charge for that service?
Yes, there is an additional charge for a custom template. I believe it is $100 for a custom design.
Okay, so that's a possibility. Um, was there, I have taken you off of screen share. Was there anything else that you wanted to actually show us or tell us about?
I mean, for the most part, I think that was the crux of it. I know it's like I have a tendency to go into the weeds a little bit in too much detail. So depending on what you're choosing, the process is always going to be the same, where it's like you can go in and just choose your templates, whether it's 2-page or one-sided, two-sided, or like 12-page booklet. But the actual process is going to be the same for all of it, where you would just go in and just lay it out by dragging your photos page by page. Until you were satisfied with what you want, and then just click print, and for the most part, you'd be done.
And how do you add floor plans? Is that just another, it comes over just like a photo and there's a floor plan?
Yeah, correct. So again, a couple of different ways. If it's as simple as just like a JPEG image, you would just lay it out like a photo. And then some of our orders, we have floor plans that are ordered with it. Those are automatically uploaded under the images for that specific agent. So all of their assets would be on that property when they went to that page.
So if the photographer places an order for floor plans, then floor plans will be another digital asset that can be dragged and dropped into a print product.
Correct.
Okay. And stock photos?
Stock photos, I mean, that's going to be depending on the photographers. Not all photographers have stock photos. So, that would really just depend. Now, when you're talking home visit on and iMoto,
so for clarification, home visit, UiPrint does not offer stock photography. That's up to the photographer if they want to have perhaps either community photos or community photos. Or I'm trying to think about a multifamily home community that may have shared amenities, pool, fitness center, etc. That's not necessarily the photographer may just have those kinds of assets, or the town to share assets, and that's up to the photographer.
Yeah, that would definitely be up to the photographer.
Okay, so I could imagine if you're a photographer and you've never offered print, I'm thinking two things. One is you may be delivering digital assets to your real estate agent clients, and they're using them with some other solution to create printed assets. So as a photographer, it seems like if you have agents that are already doing that, then you're kind of leaving money on the table. And it's probably harder for the client because they have to take the assets, upload them someplace, download things, as opposed to, oh, it's all in the Francois, do you just call it a portal?
Yeah, portal or platform. Yes, it's all.
Yeah, portal or platform. So it's just another way to consolidate make it a simpler workflow for a photographer, a simpler workflow for real estate agents.
Yeah, you nailed it on that. It's about keeping everything consolidated and all in one spot. It just makes any business run better. Whether you're a small independent photographer or you're a big agency with 100 or 200 photographers. I know back when I started my photography career, it's like, I had one separate editor, I had another separate album designer, I had one guy do our website. With Urbanimmersive, it's like we do our property websites, we do the printing, we do all the imagery and all that. It's all right there. You don't have to kind of look in any other direction, which I think is huge because it gets very overwhelming when you have to start looking up different companies to do different things. It's like we're more of a, for lack of a better word, like a Swiss Army knife. We pretty much you need a screwdriver, we have a screwdriver. It's like we have everything right there.
And for the photographer, so Dan, like it professionalizes the photographer as a one-stop shop towards his customer. So okay, you're professional, you have all the tools that I need as a real estate agent, you have all the marketing tools that I need. So like that customer will be more loyal. And like I say, it'll also bring a better tangible connection. Like I said earlier, like this is a physical connection between the photographer and the customer. You're sending out something to the customer. So that's why they have your work printed for them. So it also puts value and showcases better the picture that the photographer's taken, because everything is there. So for me, for a photographer to offer print, and also it just makes sense. And also, like, the photographer is always trying to find another way to be more unique, to reach out customers. Pay per click now on Facebook is super expensive. It's more expensive than getting this out. So even on a marketing tool basis for an agent, to sell that to the agent, like the agent book that Craig mentioned earlier, it's cheaper for the agent to give them out than trying to have a pay per click on Facebook. So, and that's more tangible. That's something that will last a lot longer than something that's just on your Facebook feed and it's gone the minute after.
Craig, or Francois, have you found that photographers, I know this is a relatively new solution for Urbanimmersive, but have you started to see any photographers that are ordering printed books, flyers, mailers for themselves?
Yes, because it's again, like this, what I showed earlier, this is a marketing tool for a photography agency, actually. So they're broadcasting what they're doing to the customers. So again, even for a photographer, this is a good marketing tool to
Cool.
broadcast what they're doing.
You know, I could imagine. I described a scenario where real estate agents are already doing print, but you're using another service because the photographer has not offered print. So now you've taken care of that. Second would be a photographer that has a real estate agent client that's not using print. And you've indicated reasons why it would be beneficial to a photographer, to a real estate agent to offer print pieces. I think there's kind of a third category I'm thinking about. It's like a crossover on everything. Is sometimes when things are messy and it's hard to do, you don't offer it. So I could imagine that many of our viewers who have not offered print in the past because it required yet another vendor, a designer, it required sending it off to a printer, coordination with the agent, said, I just don't want to offer. Can you walk me, do you have that kind of experience to talk about, Craig, of perhaps this previously was a messy process and now it's super simple and easy, and therefore there's really no reason not to offer printing. Can you talk?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your customers are always going to want, they're always going to want something to market themselves. They're always going to want to put themselves forward. And if you don't offer those tools, you're simply just losing out. And if it's messy, like you said, it's like, oh, this is difficult. And when things are messy and you try to do them yourself, you just kind of get frustrated. Like I knew that when I used to design albums all the time. And it was just like, and you get kind of like paralysis by analysis half the time because you're trying to customize something from scratch. Like building something from scratch every time is super time consuming. And like you say, will scare people away. When you have professional layouts that are already there for you, and then you could kind of tweak a little bit. And think about like what you're doing with them. Like we're not creating something like for Salvador Dali. We're just trying to create some marketing material for people to say, oh, look at this beautiful house, this is where I want to go. And you just simplify that, just as click and drag. I mean, that's an easy way into this part of the industry. And it's tough when you're a single photographer. I always used to say photographers are like lone wolves typically. It's very hard to go out there and either find a full-time photography job, or it's like we're all very independent working. But you're competing with some of these other bigger companies, and then having something like this where you have the UiPrint, and not even just the UiPrint, this is the UI portal itself. It allows you to be less of a lone wolf. You're now competing with people. You could be a lone photographer competing with someone like Home Visit that's got like 200 photographers. It doesn't matter because you have the same type of support, whether it is just using their printing system, utilizing their designers, or whether it's utilizing just the portal, the gallery, or the editing services, or the property websites. It's all integrated there. So you're no longer just Joe Photography that takes picture. You're now Joe Corporation, even though you're just one person, and you're competing with these huge corporations, and you could actually, you give them a run for their money.
So it sounds like there's really no excuse at this point for a photographer to say, "Oh, it's just too hard to do print because there's so many other steps, and because there's so much labor involved, I can't even deliver a print product affordably if I am trying to piece it together using a designer in a print shop." Now it's the workflow is super easy, it's super fast, it's super affordable. It just makes sense to offer it. And it sounds like this add-on of print, whether it's books, flyers, mailers, is a way to perhaps make money on a listing you've already shot, and you're just getting, you probably don't, I'll call it mailbox money. I mean, it's kind of like if you were in Nashville, the writers, they get mailbox money every time their song is used. I'm presuming you all don't pay by paper, but it just feels like that if you can get your real estate agents to always add on print and do it themselves, then you're collecting money without having to do anything because you've actually already done it. You've created all the digital assets. You've introduced it to your client. You showed them how to use it if they need help. But after that, it's like found money. I
And
mean,
actually, it's
am I
even
making that
easier.
up, or is that like was that
It makes
Francois?
perfect sense. It's really exactly that. And even then, if they're using the print platform within the business solution, like it makes the photographer's job a lot easier because taking care of the print internally makes it easier for the photographer because there's no file transfer. The photographer say, I need that file in this format. It doesn't fit. It's not the right size, this and that. It's all integrated within the system. It's a drag and drop kind of thing. There's nothing else to it. So it simplifies the photographer's workflow of doing print than not offering it. So it's a
Yeah.
it's a win-win.
Yeah, it removes 50% of the thinking. It's like, well, we did half of it for you. You just got to take it over the finish line.
Exactly.
Um, Before we wind up, Craig, do you feel like there's anything that we haven't discussed regarding print solutions from Urban Immersive?
I think we covered most of it. I mean, I just like to reiterate, just coming from the photography aspect, where it's just all photographers want, it's tough out there trying to make money. It's always a hustle. You have to go after shoot after shoot after client after client. It's like most photographers, they're not getting like a paycheck from the mothership. They're chasing after the dollar every week. The best thing you can do is make more money off what you're already doing, or just working faster, making things more simplified, keeping it all in one place. And our print system, and again, I don't, I know we're mostly talking about print, but the entire UI platform just enables the photographers to do that, work smarter, not harder. And I think that's, it's a little cliche, but that's really what this print process does.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, we've actually done a show, Introduction to Urban Immersive for Real Estate Photographers. You can see that WGAN-TV show at wgan.info/urban immersive on WGAN. We actually have done many shows with Urban Immersive. So if you want to do a deeper dive about all the other services that are offered, and it's quite extensive, check out that link. Francois, before we go, is there anything else that perhaps I didn't ask that we should have discussed?
No, I think we covered everything.
Let me just ask one really final question, and maybe I'll ask you both the same question. And it's literally, Francois, if you were talking to a photographer that has now joined Urban Immersive, has signed up for the platform, but is not offering print, what would you tell them?
Yeah, the print to offer print for them, like you said, it's like mailbox money. It's an easy sell. It's like it's an add-on. It's an upsell. That's so easy to do. Photographers always use looking for more revenue. It's a nice and easy way to make more revenue from the work that's, like I said, that was already done. It's nothing more. You don't have to go back out there to get more pictures or redo something else. You use what's already in the platform. So it's an easy way to make money, and then again, an easy way to get your customer to be more loyal to you because they know like you're a professional that offers everything that they need. So it's for me, it's such an easy go-to solution you need to use, and by using a platform, by using that, you're making the most of it also. If you're already on a platform, offering print is just a little add-on to it. So it's nothing, again, we're not reinventing the wheel, starting over from scratch. We're just like adding to what is already there. So it's an easy sell. It's a no-brainer to go that way for me.
No brainer. Craig, would you add anything to Francois' comments?
Yeah, well, I would say it's just instant support. Like I was saying before, it's like photographers now have instant support. You're not just this lone person. You're almost like a part of that UI size now, urban immersive size. So whether it's just, like you're saying, just using the print system, you're now part of a bigger team versus just being that lone wolf photographer. You have other people that are working for you, a system that's working for you, and all they're working for is to bring you more money and satisfy your customers more. And there's not much of a lift you need to do other than just use the system.
Craig, given your background as a photographer in this business, if you had a choice of shooting a second listing, another listing, or doing add-ons like print, can you kind of speak to that as a photographer?
Well, absolutely. A best situation, if I was a photographer, I would shoot one property and just bank as much money as I can off that one property by offering as many services that required a little amount of work. Granted, we always want more shoots. We always want to chase after it, but it's better to just focus on less and make more off the one property than just chasing after one property after another property, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting going out and shooting constantly. And there is a limit to of how many things you could shoot. You can only shoot so many properties in one day. You can only make so much money per property if you're just shooting. What happens when it's dark out? What happens when it's wintertime, or it's like you can't do as many shoots? Do you just make less money, or do you think something differently? Do you kind of find a new avenue in order to create more money or more revenue out of what you're already doing? And this is how you do it. Again, like I say, work smarter, not harder. Just focus on how much I can make and how I can grow just based off this one property, and then repeat that process for every property you do. Your end goal should be to not be shooting more properties. You should be shooting less properties, but making more profit off it and giving you more time to do other things like grow your business or spend time with your family, and depending on whatever your situation is. So like that's what I would do as a photographer. That's what I did as a photographer. It's kind of how I came here, and it's just kind of grew that way. So that would be my advice.
Craig, Francois, thanks for being on the show today.
My pleasure.
As
Great
always.
We've been visiting with Urban Immersive Director of U.S. Operations and Imaging Services, Craig Patelli, and Urban Immersive Executive Vice President, François-Huges Liberger. For Craig and Francois, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and you've been watching WGAN-TV live at 5.